Ashes of Creation is a new MMO being developed by Intrepid Studios, and I'm really excited about it. One thing that makes Ashes of Creation different to other MMOs is the level of control that players are going to have over the world. They'll really be able to make a difference to how the world develops, and different servers are actually going to be very different places. They'll have different towns and cities, maybe different quests have opened up, different environment, different places for players to go and to see. And that's because the choices that players make and the way that they behave is really going to make a difference to the world of Ashes of Creation. A major part of the game is what the developers call the node system. These are basically regions in the game, and players can determine how these regions develop. If players are very active in a region, if they build a place up, then a settlement might form, which becomes a village, which becomes a town, which becomes a city, which could become a major metropolis. And players can actually live there, they can buy houses, they can build houses, and players can also govern and rule these places and determine how they turn out. So you might have a place which becomes a great centre for learning and science, or you might have a city or metropolis which is a great religious centre, or it could be a great economic centre with a thriving market. Players will also be able to build houses or other types of home in the region around the city itself. So, for example, you could build a farm, or you could build a tavern where players can stop and rest as they go on adventures and go on travels. PvP is a big part of Ashes of Creation, and there's a lot of different ways to take part in PvP. There are going to be great battles for castles where you could have hundreds of players taking part in a massive fight to see which guild probably controls the castle. Alternatively, there are smaller scale PvP through caravans. Caravans are deliver trade goods from one place to another. Players create these caravans, they set them off, they'll have some NPC guards, but really players will have to defend the caravan, and it becomes a moving PvP zone. So other players can attack it, and you can have a great fight over control over the resources. It's also possible to take part in random PvP. You can turn on a sort of PvP flag and become what's sometimes called a player killer, a PKer in some games. But if you do that, and if you do attack people that way, then there are penalties for it. You become known as an outlaw, and other players are actually encouraged to hunt you down and kill you. So that type of very random PvP is also possible if that's what you want to do, but there will be penalties for doing it. Ashes of Creation looks beautiful. There's a great range of environments. There's going to be, I believe, some sort of seasons in it, so you'll actually see the same place change as you go from summer to autumn to winter to spring. And the game's in a very early stage, but the developers have already shown us quite large battles with large numbers of players and lots of action taking place, lots of effects on the screen, and the engine works really well. It's clearly been optimized well, and I think that's important because the game is at such an early stage. You might not expect to see that happening, but that's a really good omen. That, I think, means that we can look forward to the game working pretty well when it finally releases. The economy is going to be a big part of Ashes of Creation. There's going to be a lot to do if you're somebody who enjoys crafting, if you enjoy gathering goods, and there's not going to be a server-wide auction house. Different regions will have their own economies, their own auction houses, although it will be possible to transport goods, I think, between regions, even if that's a little bit dangerous. So that really opens up some possibilities for playing the merchant, for having each different part of the world having its own economy, while those economies can interact with each other. The developers of Ashes of Creation have what seems to me to be a really good attitude towards game development and MMO development. They're really against having any pay-to-win system. The game will have a cash shop, but only a cash shop for purely cosmetic items. Now, I know that some people will say that actually that does give you an advantage in the game because everybody wants their character to look good, and maybe if you spend real money, you will have an advantage in terms of the physical appearance of your character, maybe your mount and that sort of thing. But what you're not going to be able to do is to spend money to improve your stats, to gain experience, to win the game. That's just not going to be in there at all. And for me, that's really important. I'm really pleased about that. The game has an interesting class system. You've got 8 basic classes, and these are classes that people will have seen from other MMOs. They'll be quite familiar. You've got the fighter, the tank, the rogue, the ranger, the mage, the summoner, the cleric, the bard, But then you also have a secondary class that you can choose. So you could, for example, if you're a rogue, you could say, well, my secondary class is also going to be a rogue, and that becomes a sort of a pure rogue character, and that's actually called an assassin in the game. But you could say, well, I'm going to be a rogue for my character, but my secondary class is going to be a mage. And that would create a class called a night spell in the game. You're still a rogue, that's your main class, but you have some mage-like abilities. In fact, some of your rogue abilities will be modified slightly. Or if you're a rogue, you could say, well, I'm going to be a cleric as my secondary class. And that would make you a cultist, would be the name of that combination of classes. So you actually have 64 different classes based on 8 main classes, and that I think is quite an interesting system for a class system. One thing that's going to be really important in Ashes of Creation, as it is in many other MMOs, is the other people that you play with, and that means finding a good guild. Guilds are really important in MMOs, and I think in Ashes of Creation they could be even more important than in others, because this game gives you the ability to really make your mark on the world. But to do that, you're going to have to cooperate with other players. I'm a member of a guild called Hand of Unity, and we're looking for members, and I'd be really delighted if you'd come and check us out and see if we might be a good fit for you if you're considering playing Ashes of Creation. I've put a link to Hand of Unity's website at the bottom of this video, and also a link to our Discord, so you can just drop in on Discord and say hello if you want to. We really would like to meet you, and if we seem like a good fit for you, hope you'll consider applying to join Hand of Unity. My name is Palmer. Thank you very much indeed for watching this video. If you've enjoyed it, if you found it useful at all, then please leave a like so that other people know that it's a good video and worth watching. And consider subscribing if you want to hear more news about Ashes of Creation and Hand of Unity in the future. Thank you very much.